Good afternoon to everyone. I wish you all warm welcome for joining BEXEL today's webinar. Pleasure is mine, I'm here with you again. My name is Jelena Petrovic and I'm a Senior BIM Manager at BEXEL Consulting. During today's one-hour session, I will explain BIM model data enrichment process within BEXEL Manager BIM environment with the main goal on automation of BIM model data enrichment process. I will explain several options how the BIM model can be enriched within BEXEL ecosystem and how this can help us in different use cases depending on project needs. As I promised during previous webinar, today I will go through process of creating selection sets, rule based on the one side, and creating selection sets using templates. Here we see general steps for BIM model data enrichment workflow using BEXEL Manager add-in on an example of high-rise project. It includes the following: BIM model properties overview, defining missing properties needed for project analysis, defining BIM model elements that should be enriched with new properties, overview of existing templates for BIM model data enrichment, customizing existing or creating new templates, data enrichment process using BEXEL Manager engine, enriched BIM model properties overview, checking enriched elements with color-coded custom breakdowns, and using enriched BIM model for further 3D, 4D, 5D BIM analysis. If we go further, we see general steps for data enrichment workflow using scripts available through BEXEL Manager API console on an example of high-rise project. They include the following: BIM model properties overview, defining properties needed for further project analysis, overview of existing scripts for BIM model data enrichment, customize existing script or create a new one, data enrichment process using scripts, enrich the BIM model properties overview, checking enriched elements with color-coded custom breakdowns, and using enriched BIM model for further 3D, 4D, and 5D BIM analysis. Once the BIM model is enriched with new properties, workflow can be extended within our cloud-based solutions, and it includes following steps: publishing BEXEL Manager BIM model to the cloud as a new project version or updating existing project version, BEXEL Common Data Environment Modules Overview, discovering color-coded custom breakdowns, search and filter BIM model elements by sources structure, and filtering BIM model element attributes. Finally, creating Power BI interactive dashboard and visualization with enriched BIM model overview within Power BI dashboard. Before we start with today's topic, let me briefly introduce with our company. BEXEL Consulting is software development and consulting company specialized for BIM in construction. We have almost 2 decades of software development experience, and our consulting services are used on a global level for the last 15 years. This is just a part of our clients using our products and consulting services. Our software solutions are presented at 72 countries worldwide and used for managing more than 6,500 projects. Our main product is BEXEL Manager. More information about us and our software ecosystem you can find on our webpage, where you can also request a free trial version of the desktop application or trial version of our cloud-based solutions, which include Online Model Viewer, BEXEL FM, BEXEL Docs, and Portfolio Manager. Visit our help center with detailed explanations of tools and features of BEXEL Manager. Of course, for all existing users with BEXEL Manager licenses, there is BEXEL User Area, which is frequently updated and refreshed with the latest demo models, templates, scripts, and additional materials available for free download and use. Just to remind you that you can send your comments and questions in the chat section of the streaming platform you are using. My colleagues will make sure to answer all your questions by the end of the session. Here we have one project version opened within BEXEL Manager BIM environment. Today We will work on an example of high-rise project, the same one I used for demonstration purposes during last 3 sessions. And this model we see here is Federated BIM model BEXEL sample project 2 towers, created from IFC files which originates from Autodesk Authoring tool. When we have BIM model opened, on the left side there is Building Explorer palette as well as selection sets and custom breakdowns palettes, which are positioned here by default. Of course, you can change position of all BEXEL Manager modules, turn them on or off, and define workspace as you need or as you used to have. And there is also an option to save layout, export it and import one you have already saved locally, or reset layout to default. On the right side, we can see Properties palette, and today I will focus on it mostly. Selection info is also a really useful module, so we can have an overview of selected elements and at the same time as we are working with our BIM model, and we can be sure which elements are selected within main 3D viewport. Before I go further with the explanation of data enrichment process, I would like quickly to go through options Properties palette includes, as I see importance of possibilities available within this module, so we can manipulate and overview BIM model element properties properly. So, when element or group of elements are selected, we can overview properties related to selection for each selected BIM model element category. Categories are colored green, and property groups' names are colored in blue color. Each existing property group contains related properties within it, which come to BEXEL ecosystem creating project version using file exported from Authoring tool, where BIM model has been created. There is information about name for category of selected elements, properties group, and properties available by default, as well as average value of properties. We can include to see property values by click on Properties option here in the right corner and go to Display Totals, where we can choose desired option to see values as average, like we have, or add sum, minimum, maximum, and other existing options. I will add to see also property values as sum, so we can overview sum of property values for selected elements. Other useful option is Favorite property. This enables us to, let me say, mark desired property for selected category as favorite, and we can quickly overview them within Favorite properties section. Relation option enables us to overview to which model elements selected elements are connected, and we can simply select elements which has a relation with the desired elements. This can be useful with curtain wall panels or mullions to select curtain walls they are related to, or when we have, for example, some equipment to check to which model elements they are connected to. Of course, if there is connection between them. If there is not, this section will be empty. And there is sub-element properties, which is actually a segment where we can overview from which sub-elements our selected elements is contained. Okay, one more useful option is properties filtering. If I select any property here and use Ctrl+F button on the keyboard, filtering option opens, where we simply enter desired property of segment of property, and with enter on a keyboard or this filter command here, all properties that contain entire word are filtered here. This way we can quickly find desired property, and with close command here filtering option is closed. In case when we enrich our BIM model with new properties, it will sometimes happen that we do not see these properties within Properties module. No worries, we just need to go to Properties option, and within drop-down command list we choose Options and Filters. Option window opens, and here we can filter properties by element parents, and we can filter properties by groups. On the right side, we filtered which property group we want to see within our properties palette. I usually do check all options. So there is something I want to mark here. BIM model elements contains properties, as we see here on the left side, which are related to buildings and stories. Then they include family properties, system properties, sources properties, and element instance properties. Please pay attention when you work on large-scale models, and do not include all of previously mentioned properties. Use just those which you need, and it will speed up response when you do selection of elements. Other option that is really important to mark here, down here we see that we can turn off automatical refresh properties palette when we do selection of elements. So this can also really help you and speed up working process. And all properties our BIM model includes are visible and available now. With click OK, options we defined here will be applied. When we talk about data enrichment process that should satisfy further BIM model analysis and creation of 4D, 5D BIM model, I want to mark that classification codes should be as a mandatory for one BIM model. It doesn't mean that we cannot work without them, but the process of optimization for achieving 4D, 5D BIM model is much comfortable if we have these attributes within BIM model. And on the first place, we can make this process faster. So I don't want to conclude that the BIM model, especially nowadays, do not contain any classification code attributes at all generally. But this is one mostly missing property, or property which is not defined well, or it is segmentally defined during BIM model development process. So we are facing with situation we need to enrich BIM model with some classification as fast as possible. Here we come to data enrichment process within BEXEL Manager ecosystem. First, I'm going to overview which data enrichment templates we have within our knowledge base, and we go to knowledge base option within Manage tab, and when we click on it, the predefined location of all existing templates our system contains is opened. Go to Data Enrichment folder, and here they are. Each of these documents is an Excel spreadsheet that can be modified. I will open one I have used during my previous session to explain how actually it works, the one which is related to IFC-based BIM models and used for data enrichment of BIM model elements with UniFormat classification codes. Existing template contains two main sections. First one includes properties that are already defined within BIM model and that are utilized for filtering specific elements to which new properties will be added. Second includes properties we want to BIM model elements enriched with. First section includes existing property names and existing property values, and the second, on the right side here, includes property definitions which will be added or updated, and values of properties which will be added or updated. Based on values of existing properties, our BIM model includes elements will be included in data enrichment process. Without defined names, template will not work. For values of existing properties, we should use queries, and queries examples you can find within our data enrichment guidelines, which will be available for free download and use. This template is a basic one, so the properties values used here are not that complicated. They are just texts, but for detailed data enrichment templates we can create queries, and this template becomes advanced where our BIM model could be enriched with detailed new property values depending on defined queries of existing properties. What is the most important here? Once, when you create existing template for your specific needs or for the company specific needs, for example, you can use it on further projects with no or small modification if it is needed. And finally, automate process of BIM model data enrichment. We can add unlimited numbers of existing property names and values that are already defined in BIM model to trigger specific element that should be enriched. And this template here mostly use only 2 property values to trigger specific element for data enrichment. So starting from column E, we define rules for creating our data enrichment template. This one is created for data enrichment for UniFormat classification codes and description. In the first row, we define name of property group which will appear after data enrichment process is finished. Within the second row, we define property type which will be added, and here we support property types such as numeric, length, area, volume, angle, mass, time span, date, time, boolean, color, and text. This template has defined property type as a text. In the fourth row, we define property name our BIM model elements will be enriched with. In this case, we will enrich BIM model elements with 2 properties, UniFormat assembly code and UniFormat assembly description. And they will appear within property group, which is defined as BEXEL added. Finally, from the fifth row, we define property values. We can add unlimited numbers of new group names, property names, and values to enrich our BIM model. Here we can see a list of existing templates available within knowledge base included in the latest BEXEL Manager version. This is an overview of existing templates where you can quickly choose which template suits to your project or to choose one for customization. They are sorted by used sources, classification and depth level, as well as by country of origin. Let's enrich our BIM model with new properties using this template, Data Enrichment Template UniFormat Basic IFC. Go to Add-ins tab and click on Data Enrichment command. Within this window, we define if we want to use all elements our BIM model includes to get into data enrichment process or just selected elements. I will leave all elements, and if we check this box here, we will also have selection sets with the data enrichment results created automatically. Click OK and location of knowledge base folder opens automatically, and here we choose desired template. We select one and click on Open command. We get notification that process of data enrichment is finished, and now within Properties palette, new property group appears with new properties with values which are based on rules we define within our template. Okay, what this means? I go back to our template, Excel spreadsheet. Let me overview on a wall example. This means that all elements which have property category with value walls and which have property load bearing with the value true will be enriched with 2 new textual properties, UniFormat assembly code with value B1010-210 and UniFormat assembly description with value bearing walls. And these 2 properties will be within BEXEL Edit Properties group. Let's go back to our BIM model and check is it really like that now after data enrichment process. I'm going to select all elements with enriched UniFormat assembly code property and with value B1010-210. Do right click on the property and choose view values of property. Here within open window, for certain property we can find desired property value. We can use filtering options available. All categories, this category, selected elements, and check only visible elements. Okay, here I see values, and we find desired one. Here it is, B1010 210. Selection is defined as new selection, but there are also options, other options here if it is needed. Click on select a command, and elements with previously marked property value are selected within 3D viewport. We can isolate these elements with right click here and we choose isolate selected elements command. I'm going to use filtering option to find desired property. Actually, we can filter several properties if we use a separator between them, category and load bearing properties. And here they are. These elements really have existing properties, just like it is defined as a query within our data enrichment template. I'm going to enrich our BIM model with some new properties. This time I will use one other template, classification template, and I will change property group name. This is just a small customization. Let's open this template from knowledge base, Data Enrichment Template OmniClass, IFC. And here I will change property group name, and it will be just BEXEL Edit OmniClass, for example. Here we see which existing properties will be used to trigger elements during data enrichment process. So the properties that will be used are category, IFC system object type, and load bearing. So BIM model will be enriched with properties OmniClass 21 code and OmniClass 21 description, which will be within property group as I defined here, BEXEL Edit OmniClass. And values of these properties will be assigned to BIM model elements depending on the queries we have here within our template. Save this template within custom template. Just go to upper folder structure and find custom templates folder. Okay, here is data enrichment folder, empty until now, and here I'm saving our new template just to add suffix customized. And let's go back to add-in section, click on data enrichment command, select an option, which elements we want to use. I will mark to create selection sets and find our template within custom templates folder. Select file and click on open command. Once the data enrichment process is finished, we can find this new property group within properties palette, and here there are new properties with values. I want to show you one more option. We are able to remove properties from some elements. Okay, let me say I want to remove properties from elements that are related to surrounding buildings and roads. I do selection of elements, and using selection sets I have already within our BIM model, and simply do right click on properties I want to remove from elements. Click on delete command and they will be removed, even though the selection included different categories. The properties are removed from all selected elements. Okay, one more option. If we go to Manage tab and within Modify section, there is Property option, where from drop-down list we can make further actions related to properties our BIM model includes. So, what we have here, we can export properties from all elements or just from selected elements. The result is Excel file with all properties we have exported. It is also possible to import properties using import command. So if we make some changings within exported file, we can import back these properties to our BIM model. There is also delete property option, where we can delete desired properties from all elements or family or specific category. Be careful with this option to avoid to delete properties from elements you actually need for further BIM model analysis. Beside data enrichment using BEXEL Manager add-in, it is also possible to create, let me say, properties manually, properties related to desired BIM model elements. Let me create properties for construction phases. I have already created selection sets. As I mentioned during last webinar, I also created them manually. But now I can use these selection sets for easier selection of elements to demonstrate how we can create new properties. So, I want to create property which will be textual property type and which will be created within new group of properties which I will call BEXEL Edit Construction Sequences. First, I select desired elements and go to Property section. From drop-down list, we choose New Property command. We are notified that our selection includes multiple categories, and it is fine. In this case, I want to add a new property to all selected categories. Click Yes, and the new property window opens. First, we define property name. Let's call it Construction Phases. Then we should define property group. I will enter new group name, but we can also include our property within existing property groups. After that, we define property type. In our case, it will be textual property, but here you can see options for property types. And we define property value. I will just add undefined for now. Click OK. And wait for a while until the process of properties creation is finished. Now we can find our new properties within Properties palette, and all values are undefined. To change property value of desired property for specific element selection, select elements to which we want to change property value and do double-click on a property. Edit Property window opens, and here we define new value. I will just change it to be as phase 1 because I've selected elements which are related to construction phase 1 defined within our selection sets. So click OK, and all selected elements got this new property value. I can repeat this section to change property values for all phases. What is important to mark here? Generally, we can create new properties which can be based on existing model element properties. We can create numerical properties to calculate different measurements depending on our project needs and analysis we want to achieve. And property edit is also available. Furthermore, when we enrich our BIM model with new properties, we can, in a case of Revit-based models, give these properties back to authoring tool. I see this really useful in case when our BIM model is with lack of properties, like classification information, for example, which we need for further project analysis based on BIM. Okay, I have manually entered values for property related to project phases. Now I'm going to switch to BIM model I used during last session. During last 2 sessions, actually, we went through 4D, 5D BIM planning workflow on an example of high-rise project based on IFC, which originates from Autodesk Revit authoring tool. BIM model has been enriched with classification codes. In our case, it was UniFormat classification used, which were used for generating work breakdown structure based on classification code rules and used for construction work items creation based on UniFormat work breakdown structure. Construction methodology for high-rise buildings was loaded, and we have created project-specific zones, building by building levels, and construction phases. Construction schedule was created, and we have got 4D construction simulation, which was analyzed within BEXEL Manager desktop application as well as within our cloud-based solutions and Power BI report. This model included cost information for bearing walls, so we also have cost information for activities related to bearing walls. For previous mentioned 4D, 5D BIM planning workflow, we needed to enrich our BIM model with UniFormat classification codes, and it was done using our Data Enrichment engine. Here, I have already done data enrichment with omni-class classification codes as I explained during the first part of our today's session. It is not that usual to have two classifications in one BIM model, but just for data enrichment process demonstration, it is fine. I haven't recreated property creation related to construction phases within this model, which I did actually manually, and now we are going to see why. There is, within Manage tab, Command API Console. When we click on it, BEXEL Manager Interactive C# console opens with listed existing scripts that we can use for different actions, like, for example, adding new properties based on rules defined within certain script, or automatical creation of selection sets using information available within 4D, 5D BIM model. If you have any background in C# programming language, you can create new scripts, organize them within folders. There are lots of pre-installed scripts which are available for execution immediately, or you can edit existing scripts you will see here and save as a new. Now, I'm going to use one script to enrich our BIM model elements with properties related to selection sets we have here in our BIM model. Specifically, I'm going to create property which I have created manually earlier during today's session, construction phase. The script I'm going to use generates selection sets level properties on the elements for selection set folder. I'm going to use this folder construction sequence. Okay, let's go back. Now I'm going to use one script. Actually, I'm going to import it from local computer. Of course, it will be available for download and you can use it when you test this approach. Click on Import command and find script on the local computer. It appears within existing script list and we can find it here. First, we define what will be the property group name. Let's call it as BEXEL Edit Construction Sequences. Here we define the selection set folder which will be used for property creation. Construction sequence is the right one. And finally, here we define property names, and this selection set folder contains only one level, and here I will define property name for first selection set level, construction phase. Click on Execute and we are notified when the process is finished. We close our script and let's find our new property within property section, and now we see new properties related to certain BIM model elements, properties created using simple script where we in a few steps enriched our BIM model. Custom breakdowns related to construction phases I have created during previous session, and it was created using selection sets. And now, when we select elements through custom breakdowns we have here, we can make sure if elements really got properties we wanted to have, and this property is ready for use in any other BIM analysis within our system. Let's enrich our BIM model using this folder here, Building Structure and Group of Works, and create property for building and work type. I go back to console. Here is the same script I'm going to use. First we define property group name. I will call it as BEXEL Edit, Building Structure and Group of Works. And we should define which selection set folder will be used for data enrichment execution. So, Building Structure and Group of Works. Okay, as we actually do not need parent level 0 related to selection set folder, I'm going to do small modifications within this script where we will create properties that are related to selection set level 1 and selection set level 2. To do this, we should first set for add manually defined property names only, true instead of false, and now we can comment out this string related to selection set level 0. First selection set level definition will be used for new property, let's call it building, and second level will be used for type of works. We can also make a copy of this script, paste it here within the root scripts folder and rename it. We can just add as edited. This script, after we export it, can be shared with other users and reused. Click on Export command and save the edited script file to desired location. Now we can execute our job here. Click on Execute command and wait process to be finished. I do not see created group. Here it is, what I notified earlier. Let's quickly turn on all properties using Options and Filter command here in the right corner. And here they are. New properties appear within new group of properties just as it was defined within our script. We go back to run some other existing scripts. Now I'm going to use this one, which is related to schedule, add the detailed schedule dates and cost properties. This script adds properties to related elements including total cost, start date, start week, start month, finish date, finish week and finish month. Element cost and schedule properties are generated from the active schedule. I will just define property group name where these new properties will appear. Let's call it BEXEL Edit Schedule. Click on Execute command and after the process is finished we can define the new properties within Properties palette. Just to remind you, this project has cost information related to bearing walls only, defined as other cost without labor, material and equipment cost. If we have had defined this information, we would also have properties with cost information element containing for labor, material and equipment, and they will not be zero like they are right now. Now we have only total cost for bearing walls. Let's go back once again. I want to use script at task level properties. This script adds task level property from the active schedule, and here we define property group name. Let's call it BEXEL Edit Schedule Task Levels. Click on Execute and let's overview what we have got. Once again, if we do not see added group of properties, we do the same as earlier. Here are properties related to schedule task levels. I can also add cost assignment codes as an element property. And here is that script, add cost assignment code to element property. This script adds cost assignment codes from the active cost version to the new element property. Let's call property group such as BEXEL Edit Cost, and the property name will stay as it is defined here, like cost codes. Click on Execute. We used several scripts and we have enriched the BIM model within properties which were created from selection set. We used information from schedule and also we used information about cost. I can create custom breakdowns which use these new properties as a rule for their creation. We have already some custom breakdowns included. Some of them are based on the property rules and some of them are creating using selection sets. I will create one which uses schedule task levels properties we have just created using script. Go to New Custom Breakdown command within Custom Breakdown section and define the custom breakdown name. I will use all elements our BIM model includes. Click on New Selection and here we define rules. We will use properties task level 1, 2, 3, and task level 4 and create custom breakdown, which will be structured in multi-levels, just like I'm doing right now. Do right-click, go to Add Rule and choose Property option. Here we define property task level and click OK. We repeat this section for all 4 properties we have, which are related to task levels. Color coding we can do on the second level of our custom breakdown and click OK. Our custom breakdown is created and we can overview BIM model elements colored in different colors depending on values defined within task level 2 property. Let's create one more custom breakdown which will use cost assignment codes. In our case, cost codes property, we have previously enriched our BIM model using script. We enter the name, select elements. For rule, we choose again property and find our property cost code. I want to divide our custom breakdown to be structured on the first level to have one code string like A, and on the second level to have 3 code strings like A10. Now we define here substrings for the first dividing level. First we have length, which will include 1 string, and we repeat all this by adding a new rule where we will define to use length of 3 strings calculating from the first one. Okay, on the last level we will just add the whole cost code property value, and here we go. Color code our custom breakdown second level of breakdown structure and click OK. We have created our new custom breakdown and we see our BIM model colored in different colors depending on the cost code property values. During previous session, I have explained how we can create selection sets from existing custom breakdowns using Creation Wizard and selection sets from selection of elements. Today, I will show you how we can create smart selection sets using templates and how we can create smart selection sets, let me say, manually. We go to Selection Set section and here there is Command Templates, where we can choose from drop-down list desired option. Options for importing template from knowledge base or custom template, and there are options for templates export. If we choose an option to create smart selection sets from BEXEL knowledge base, default location where these templates are stored is opened, and here we see all existing templates our knowledge base includes. Let's open one to overview what it contains. I must say once again, all these Excel files are editable, so you can use them and customize them for your project specific needs. I will open one example so we can overview what these templates actually include. Within this first column, we define selection set folder name, and if we will have our selection sets structured in multi-levels folders, like these templates includes, their names are separated with backslash. Within second column, there is unique identifier of the selection set. If the selection set name exists in a specified folder, you can choose to overwrite the selection set or keep existing during the process of their creation. And third column is reserved for queries which are based on element properties. Within Help sheet, we can overview queries examples. I will open one simpler template so we can overview these queries. I'm going to use one for smart selection sets creation where elements which are walls category will be included and divided by structural type. So, the folder name will be wall structural types And selection set names will be structural walls and architectural walls. Both of them will be created within this one folder named Wall Structural Types. And here are queries which will be used. This template is for IFC and BX3 based models. So let me to explain this. All elements which have property category with value walls and which have properties structural for BX3 based models or load bearing for IFC models with value true will be included in selection set structural walls. Click on Open command and wait for a while until the process of selection sets creation is finished. We are notified when the process is finished successfully and created folder is here. If we do double click on one of created selection sets or with right click choose edit command, we can see rules which were defined within use template. And what is the most important with smart selection sets is that if project version is updated, new elements which satisfy defined queries will be included or excluded from them automatically. Furthermore, we can use these selection sets for other analysis within our ecosystem. And finally, I'm going to create only one smart selection set which will use construction phase property. The one we have enriched our BIM model using scripts, even though we have this selection set here already, the one I have created manually. Someone would say I'm talking about construction phases property mostly and I'm going in a circle. But still I find explaining options on some simple example useful, so they can be used with any other property, not just for construction phase. Okay, to create new selection set, do right click on desired folder within which our selection set will be created, where there are options to create one from selection, from rules or element queries. There is also new selection set command positioned here, and when we click on it within new window, first we define selection set folder path, then we should define selection set name. I will just call it phase 1, and here we define rules. We click on new rule and from drop down list we choose inclusive option. Here we define reference objects, actually their type. So here we see options. Beside existing, I will use element query. Now we define query. Click on insert query and choose property value, as our selection set will be based on property construction phase. First, we find this property. Here it is. Property type is text and the value should be equal to phase 1. We click OK and find our created selection set. So, this selection set is smart one which is created using rules based on element property. One more thing I want to mark here before we publish our model to the cloud is that we can edit created selection sets, and other really useful option is that we can export it as an Excel file which can be edited by adding new rules and definitions for smart selection sets creation and imported back to our system again. Definitely selection sets topic will be explained more in future sessions, so I can just say to be continued. Let's publish our project version to the cloud. Go to BEXEL Common Data Environment tab and click on New Version command. The publishing wizard opens where we follow the steps for publishing our project version to the cloud. First, we choose project where our new project version will be published and find project within the drop-down list. Here we define project version name and click on Next command. Now we should define publishing options. I will publish all elements our project includes. We should define how our project will be divided. There are three options, just to remind you, by source, by category, and by selection sets. I will divide our model by selection set folder, so BIM model will be divided in multi-levels by buildings and type of works like we had during last session. Go to next command, and here we choose which selection sets will be published. Now we define custom breakdowns that will be published to the cloud with our new project version. I will mark all of them. Most of them are created during our previous sessions, but we also have custom breakdowns created during today's session. Finally, we select schedules, so animation will be also available within our online project version. Click on Finish and wait for a while until the project version publishing process is finished. Once the process of publishing is finished, we will be notified by email, and we go to BEXEL Common Data Environment, and within listed projects we find our sample project 2 towers. Within project version list we find project version we have just published and open it. Now the project version can be explored within BEXEL Viewer Online, where we can overview all properties our enriched BIM model includes. The project version is opened, and I'm going to load all sources except surrounding buildings and roads. Here we see that sources are just as I voted. BIM model is divided in multi-levels, and this allows us to load only desired segment of the BIM model to be reviewed on the cloud. To overview element properties, we go to Inspection Properties command, and Properties Inspection allows us to overview BIM model properties and select BIM model elements using desired properties and their values. Here we can see all properties our enriched BIM model includes. So go to Filtering option and Overview values of desired property. We can overview type of work property, for example, and see values and select desired work type using all selected elements or only visible elements. We can expect construction phases, for example, and create selection of desired property value. There is Slice Object option here, with which we can slice our model as we want or as we need, for easier overview of our BIM model. This is one also useful option, so we can easily enable or disable slice option we have created, edit them or delete them. I did flip option so we can see how it actually works. Here is BEXEL Viewer with custom breakdowns, which we can change as we need. Schedule animation module and reports module also available. Other BEXEL Common Data Environment modules are available depending on your access rights, such as BEXEL Docs and BEXEL FM. We color our BIM model using custom breakdowns created within BEXEL Manager, which were marked to be published to online model version. Selection sets are also available here within Viewer. And here we see selection sets which were created during today's session and marked to be published with our project version. Within Schedule Animation module, we can play construction simulation that was also created during previous session and published to the cloud during publishing process now. We choose desired animation, turn animation mode on, and custom breakdowns is set as we want, and we can play animation with simple click on play command. So anyone with certain access rights to this project will be allowed to overview our enriched BIM model online within browser. They can also select a desired element. In this case, I have selected structural wall, and within Properties palette, there is information about start date and finish date of element execution, as well as cost information in this case. We go further to see how we can analyze our enriched BIM model within Power BI report. Here I have opened one Power BI dashboard, and this dashboard has already been published to the web. Data publishing process from BEXEL Manager was explained during previous sessions, as well as how we can customize existing Power BI reports available within BEXEL Manager as a template. With data export from BEXEL Manager application, we export huge amount of data depending on template to template, and this data can be used within Power BI report to achieve a really useful executive information that can help on our project. As the basis for this report, we see here Model Explorer template was used, and basically it includes BIM model element properties information. I have made small modifications of initial template where properties we have enriched our BIM model elements with are available for use within this interactive dashboard. Besides properties mostly used for exploring our BIM model, like information about sources, building stories, element categories, and family used, we also have an overview of values of quantities of BIM model elements like length, volume, area, and number of elements. On the right side here, we see visuals which are based on properties our BIM model has been enriched during today's session, where we can overview quantities of elements where selection can be based on type of works and construction phase property. Also, these four visuals here use properties such as Schedule Task Level 2 and Schedule Task Level 3 and UniFormat assembly code and description. So when we filter elements which are based on property type of works, like structural works, we have an overview of all categories and families used for this type of work, their quantities like length, area, and volume. And furthermore, we can filter selection based on schedule task levels like bearing walls, and see UniFormat assembly codes our selection includes. So, if we select elements related to just one building level and filter map works only, we have an overview of quantities like pipes, lengths here, and information within which schedule task selected elements are included. This way, we have really quick overview of main quantities and information our BIM model includes. And I want to mark here, we used only BIM model element properties for all analysis available within this dashboard. There are Power BI templates which use data export, including information about schedules, cost versions, beside other data exported from BEXEL Manager automatically. But this is an example how we can quickly overview our project using only properties BIM model element includes. BEXEL Viewer Visual is also available within this interactive dashboard, so we can select desired elements in a viewer and have an overview of selected elements, properties, and their values. This model has schedule animation loaded, so we can also play animation even within this dashboard and have an overview of works that should be executed until the selected day. I have just changed color schema. Also, I set schedule animation that we are going to play, and elements which are marked here within viewer are actually all elements our BIM model include except surrounding building and roads. To play our animation, click on play command and we can overview our 4D, 5D schedule animation within our Power BI dashboard. This was all from my side for today. Thank you for your attention. I invite you to test data enrichment workflow within BEXEL Manager ecosystem, and also guidelines for workflow presented today will be available soon for free download and use. I would like to invite you to join our next webinar in a row, Volume 6, on the 25th of October. The focus will still be on the information part of BIM models, and you will learn about the importance of data accuracy and the quality of the data layer, how to track your BIM model health, and so much more. So stay tuned and have a nice rest of the day.